Okay, so very good evening, all of you, in today's lecture. Uh, very briefly, I'll tell you what is the agenda of today. आज हम लोग क्या डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं and what we're going to discuss. Uh, so the people who are targeting 2021, this session is specifically for you. And in the next half hour, I'll be discussing that what is the way and approach to make a good timetable for the preparation so that you can crack the examination. Now, there are two parts of the timetable. One part is what to study, and second is how where you devote your in terms of study. For example, if you are studying on an average 7 to 8 hours a day, then how effectively you should be devoting. So today's session will be specifically to focus on these two aspects. Now, before starting, I'm sure each one of you must be having in your mind that I can improve every day. You have a lot of doubts and questions that whether this will work or whether this will work or not. And so let's quickly come back to the very idea of target making and how do we make a good timetable. Now, but before making a good timetable, one common mistake which students make is that they don't understand that timetable making will depend on understanding the UPSC examination. Even if I tell you on a daily basis that what you should be doing, for example, the basic UPSC examination is very basic. Civil services want you to invest time on all the areas so that you can crack the examination. Now, we all know that prelims is on 27th of June, 2021. So how many days we have for prelims? If I say, if we take it from January, so we have effectively Jan to May, you have effectively around 5 months, so 150 days plus 20 more days, though it is on 27. So let's take maybe 25 more days. So effectively you have 175 days for cracking the examination. Okay. I need all of your attention. I'll be taking questions in the end. The first half an hour, I need your time and attention. And let's give me everything which I have planned. And then you can ask me questions. And after those, I'll take those questions one to one. And if needed, I'll allow you also to speak. Okay. So you have 175 days. Now, 175 days आपके पास हैं. What you should be doing. Now, there are two things. There are two kind of people. One are those people जिनका preparation already चल रहा है and they have done a lot of effort. Some people are giving the exam for the next time. Some people are maybe giving for the second, maybe they have given this year and they are targeting next year. So everybody will have a different approach, but the basics will remain the same. So 175 days would require first you to appraise the syllabi. Now open the syllabus properly. Okay, open the UPSC syllabus. Now you must be knowing the three level of examination: prelims, mains, and in prelims, paper 1 is CSAT and paper 2 is general studies. Paper 3, mains is all about 4 subjects and plus essay also, and plus optional. Now, what common mistake people do that they study syllabus of GS, but they skip the essay entirely. They study the optional, but they skip some area. But for a good preparation, you have to cover all the areas. Now, what is the benchmark? मुझे पढ़ाई करके where I have to reach? I have to crack the examination. Now, what are the threshold for my examination? मुझे अगर crack करना examination, so how much? How much is the cutoff? Okay, so this is prelims cutoff. So my benchmark on 27th of June would be that I should be scoring this much mark. If I take the average of these marks, so I can say the average of UPSC cutoff is 55%, 50 to 55%, 50%. If I take the average of past 3-4 years, so 50% is the cutoff. Now, can you crack 50%? Well, it is not easy because UPSC, the prelims is the most toughest part of the examination, and cracking or breaching 50% cutoff is not an easy thing because it will require a lot of effort. Hardly 3% people who give the examination, they clear the prelims. So जितने लोग एग्जाम देते हैं 100 में से 3% लोग प्रीलिम क्लियर करते हैं. But remember, it does not mean that everybody who has filled the examination or giving the examination, they are the serious candidate. No. the serious candidate are not more than 10-12%. The serious people are not more than 10-12% people. So effectively, if I say 4 lakh people are giving, so 5 lakh people are giving, so 50,000 are the serious candidate. In serious candidate, may say 3% people are going to clear, I mean, in total, which means in this serious candidate, I would say 25% people are clearing it. Now, my basic question is that because everybody is reading the same set of books, everybody is going through the same set of approach, everybody is reading the same newspaper, everybody is following the same sources, the online sources, offline sources. And I'm assuming that at average level, you have got good guidance and mentoring. Okay. And if everywhere, if you have a good guidance, I mean, if I'm assuming that you have a good guidance, so we have to breach the cutoff. हमको ये cutoff को breach करना है. And whatever is the outcome and circumstances, I'm assuming I have to clear this cutoff. And remember, not only clear the cutoff, the target that we should be at least 20% above the cutoff, which means effectively cutoff is 50%, हमें 60% score करना है. Very much important. Now you should target 60%, and in worst situation, let's say on final day कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाती है, then in a worst situation also at least आप cutoff के नीचे नहीं जाते हो. So 50% is the threshold. And if you see UPSC examination, now let's stick to the prelims approach. In prelims, we have history, economy, polity, geography, environment, current affairs, IR, science and tech. Now, these are the areas of, so effectively, just hold on. Now, so effectively, if these are the prelims areas, and these are 7 to 8 subjects or areas, I would say, UPSC में law of averages work करता है, which means that in every area you have to be thorough so that you can crack the prelims. Now, if you ask me what is the trend of UPSC in the past 10 years, now, to be very frank, there is no trend, which means you can't rely. Let's say you are good in history, does not mean that you will go ahead and you leave other subject. You might be good in economics or polity, but हो सकता है economics polity में that year, maybe in the year you are attempting, the number of questions might be lesser. So हमें क्या करना है? We have to ensure that we follow a law of averages in every odd 7-8 areas, history, polity, economy. If I say 8 areas are there, in all these 8 areas, you have to make sure that your preparation is, you are reaching at the threshold level of preparation. आपका एक basic threshold level पे preparation आपका होना चाहिए. And you should be in a situation to crack 50% in all the areas. Means in every subject, in each and every subject, you should be in a situation to crack more than 50%. Now that's the first rule that you should be following. Which means आपको preparation को अपने जो time देना है, you have to devote time equally on all the areas properly. Which means you can't focus on 4 subjects and you leave 4 subjects, assuming that यहाँ से 4 subjects say I get 70 questions and I can get higher mark. No, we cannot follow that approach because that will be suicidal. So average in all the areas, plus maybe 1 or 2 area could be areas where you are more comfortable. For example, some people are good in polity. So if you are good in polity, maybe you can score 1 or 2 extra mark than general average crowd who are cracking the prelims. Maybe similarly, 1 area can also be added. Maybe let's say you are good in maps, so maybe you can score 1 extra question beyond, or maybe 1 or 2 extra questions than the normal average people. So the point I want to make here is that irrespective of what is the situation, I have to breach that 50% cutoff in all the subject, individual subject wise. तो मेरा जो timetable होना चाहिए वो मुझे devote करना होगा. My timetable should be devoting in all the subjects in a certain way so that I can crack the 50% cutoff level. That is the prime objective of the preparation in the next 6-8 months. Believe me, UPSC, if you make a mistake, you have to repeat the cycle again. It is very painful to repeat the cycle again. So make sure the strategy is bang on to the target and you reassess the strategy every 10-15 days, whether things are working or not, so that you can improvise and can improve on the areas or gap areas. So हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव होना चाहिए कि हम हर एरियाज पे वी हैव टू फोकस ऑन ऑल द एरियाज. So that is the first thing. Now these are the cutoff. If I say prelims cutoff, okay. Similarly, if I say these are mains cutoff. Now mains cutoff I will not much focus today because our objective is to clear prelims. And if I say final cutoff of UPSC is around 50%. 50% अगर आप score कर लेते हो, you'll get a top 50 rank. Okay. So maybe not top 50, but maybe in a top 200 rank you'll get. Maybe 1050 you can get top 50 rank. So we have to score in these areas. Now next question comes in that are we preparing for the 27th of June? What about main subject? Should we do it or not? Because right now more than 6 months are there, so you must be asking that should I do the main syllabus? Should I do the optional? Should I do the essay? Because that thing is also there in your mind. Now I'll ask a very other basic question. Rather than giving you an answer, I ask you, what if you clear the prelims and let's say in normally 50 days this year, in a 17 18 days the result came. In 17th on 17th day the prelims result were out. But normally 50 days takes place. So let's say you have 50 days after the prelims examination where result comes out. So probably in somewhere in August, mid of August, 15th of August, the prelims score is out. That means you have cleared the prelims or not. And September end is your mains. Now again, not August, I would say. Probably it will be somewhere around. I think it will be somewhere around July end at the max. So now when you have just hardly 2 months before the mains examination, okay, आपको मेंस देने में सिर्फ 1.5-2 महीना रहता है. So you can't study essay or optional in that area. So you have to invest your time on these subject right now. These are some main syllabus. Apart from prelims, world history, Indian society, IR, polity, governance, internal security, disaster management, ethics, integrity, and aptitude. So these are mains area. Now, what areas have to cover? Now, again, I will divide your preparation into two broad areas, two broad time period. One is from Jan till March 31st, okay? Then the new financial year, when the new financial year becomes from 1st April till 27th of, or let's say, yes, 27th of June. So this period, you can invest in all the areas. That is, prelims based preparation should also be there, mains based preparation should also be there, and optional should also be there. Now you have to divide your time. 30% you can give an optional. Yani aaj bhi aap, agar aap exam de rahe ho, you can invest 30% of your time on optional till March, but not beyond after March. I'm assuming that you started your preparation last year, and I'm also assuming that you must have read the syllabus properly. या बहुत सारा areas आपने cover कर दिया होगा. Some areas are still remaining. So I would suggest 30% depending on what is the level of your preparation. As far as the mains and prelims preparation is concerned, there is no need of separate strategy. The only strategy that is needed, that along with the subject that you study, let's say you study certain main subject. Let's say you study society, you study internal security, you study disaster management. So when you study these subjects, just parallelly write some answers, write few answers, and also see the previous year question papers. That means specifically अगर आप mains का topic पढ़ रहे हो, study the topic and see the previous year question and maybe write few of them. As far as the mains subject which are common, which means common subjects in both prelims and mains. So if the subjects are common in both prelims and mains, what you can do is that you will go for both aspects. For example, let's say you study Indian polity. Now Indian polity is common both in prelims and mains. Agar Indian polity prelims and mains dono mein common hai, then what do? You focus on Indian polity topic for static point of view. That means let's say you go and read Lakshmikant or NCRT. Then after that you go and cover the dynamic areas, okay, for the mains perspective. Or parallelly आप क्या करोगे? You will focus on prelims, MCQs, the previous year question, the practice question, module test, sectional test, whatever, and mains parallel questions you have to do. तो जो common areas हैं आप उसमें MCQs भी लगाओगे and you will attempt the mains question also once in a while. Maybe you can make a basic rule that every second day I will write answers. Okay, So that is the approach you can do. So people who are starting from scratch, well, for you, again, you have to go back to the basic. You familiarize with the UPSC syllabus and start with NCERT, try to cover them in next 2 months and develop the newspaper reading habit. Now, people who have already doing preparation, and I'm assuming कि ये सारा चीजें हो गया होगा, for them, this is not the basic approach. You will continue with the preparation, but just sit down and just map your preparation and see which areas of syllabus you are doing, which areas are remaining, where you're comfortable, where you're not comfortable. People who are starting, for them, it is just you need to familiarize yourself and you can cover NCERT in the next 2 months. Now, what do you do? Till, let's say, if I say from May onwards, May till June, last 50 days. Last 50 days should be devoted almost 80%, 70, 80% for revision. Where last 20 days should be 100% revision. Which means effectively, if I say that you have 4 months. मैं थोड़ा सा यहाँ easy हो गया हूँ, 5 months. For the next 4 months, you should be thorough with all the standard books of all the subject. जो भी आपके subjects के standard books हैं, you have to cover them. Now, if you're targeting next year, which means if you're targeting next year, you have limited, time. So in the next 4 months, your objective should be that I should be covering my standard book in all the subject. Now remember, follow one book every subject. You don't go beyond one book. One book is more than sufficient. Follow one book. Then optional subject, again, as I said, till March only. So you have again 3 months for the optional subject. Then you can develop your study schedule and timetable. I'll come to timetable, don't worry. Now, when you're preparing, remember, always cover all the areas. Reading, answer writing, solving MCQs, everything. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि आप सिर्फ study कर रहे हो. You focus all the thing. If you're just reading and you're not writing answer, not solving MCQs, you're wasting your time. Okay. Few things you can avoid entirely. Random solving or MCQs. Newspaper summary, reading from some place. Guide, complete no. Summary of coaching note, complete no. Okay. If you've read a subject, then you can go with coaching note. Then always start with basic NCERTs. Agar NCERT kar liya hai, then move to the standard book and read from one source, not multiple source. Don't seek random advice. Unfortunately, everybody, even who has given prelims once, maybe they will give you advice. So don't seek random advice, seek an expert advice. And as NCERT se aap start karo. You don't need to read all the NCERTs. Let's say you're targeting this year and you haven't started preparation. There are 15, 16 NCERTs you have to cover in the next 2 months. Whose list I can provide that. So initial few months NCERT, newspaper reading, making notes, and timetable. Now I'll come to today's agenda, timetable. Now, how do you make an effective timetable? Or timetable कैसा होना चाहिए? Timetable का importance हमें पता है, so that there is a focus, there is a sense of direction, there is preparation is streamlined. You are able to avoid your stress. You getting feedback that things are working or not, and you can also understand the pace of preparation, and accordingly, based on the pace of preparation, you can maybe improvise the timetable. Let's say you are investing 6 hours and you feel that things are not working, or maybe you need to invest more, so you can increase 7 hours or 8 hours depending on how you can do. So timetable is good timetable is important for coverage of syllabus in a defined time. Now, you codify the time. I codify it. After 3 months, I will not do this subject. In 3 months, I have to cover this subject. Then you have to look and you have to make an individualized study plan. What I mean to say that your study plan should be individual. Don't follow your friends study plan, because everybody is different. Don't maybe take a topper ka study plan aapne dekha and you start executing on yourself. Well, you do not know the state where the topper was or what are the challenges of the topper. Okay. For written timetable, you have to speak to me one-to-one. So customized individualized timetable, you need to discuss with a mentor, and you can discuss the challenges and areas, and that can help. Okay, individual customized timetable is something which would require maybe understanding your depth of preparation and what are the challenges and which areas have to be focused. So students who are targeting my students or other students who are targeting this year, and if they want individualized timetable, then they have to speak to me. Now, coming to timetable ka beginning kaisa karo? always have a weekly schedule. Remember, never make a daily schedule. The problem is that you cannot have a consistent approach on daily timetable. Okay. For example, if you are reading on a daily basis, so it is very difficult to make every day. You cannot get up in the morning and make timetable. वो possible नहीं, because you waste your time. Instead, you make a weekly timetable. The reason why I'm telling you about a weekly timetable, because as I mentioned, the law of averages will work. If I say that I expect you to study 7 hours a day on an average, that means for 7 days, I expect you to study 50 hours. 7 into 7, 50, 49, 50. So if you're assuming that I study 50 hours per week, so maybe one day you might be studying 6 hours. एक दिन आप 8 घंटे पढ़ोगे. Other day you might be, maybe you had good momentum and you studied more. So it is very important that you ensure that, you develop that. So people who are starting, who are targeting this year, for that, you have to have a weekly timetable. Questions I'll take in the end. Please don't interrupt in between. Don't interrupt in between. Let me complete it. Okay. So start with the weekly timetable, and then understand the pace of preparation. In the beginning, when you make a timetable means target also. Every timetable will start with a target. So let's say you have a target. So what is the target this year? Today, maybe you have a target that in next 6 days or 7 days, I'll cover modern history. Okay. And then you even further, if you want to say, so maybe modern history would require me to study 25 hours, let's say. So on an average, every day I need to study 4 hours. Now you have to give 4 hours in your study time to modern history on an average, someday more, someday less. Now again, problem kahan aata hai that when you make a timetable, many a times you are not able to stick to the deadline and timeline. So even the targets, the preparation, जो timetable होगा शुरू में realistic नहीं बनेगा. Eventually, when you understand the pace of preparation, you can make a realistic timetable. One more thing, whatever happens, newspaper reading is must. Make sure at least if you're not making note, at least read the important articles, see it, and make a small and realistic target. Don't make a target that I'll study 12 hours a day and I'll cover this. No, make a realistic target, and small target also, which you can cover. Really, you understand. As I mentioned, every student is different, so they understand. They understand that this is what I am. This is my pace. This is my comfort zone. This is how I'll be studying. This is how I'll not be studying. So starting with weekly timetable, and understand that, make a weekly timetable. Then if you thoda sa advanced level of preparation mein ho, let's say people who are doing that, so you can make an annual and monthly schedule along with weekly. So students, let's say my old student who are targeting this year, so you have reached a certain threshold, बहुत सारे areas आपने कर लिया होगा. So you make an annual, make a next 6 month का आपका approach क्या होगा, and then month, and then you can come with a week approach. मोटा मोटा, it's not that you can modify it as per your own requirement. Now remember, as I mentioned, law of averages will work. So UPSC, you have to make sure that you devote time in all the areas. Very important. सारे areas को cover करो timetable में. Essay and answer writing should be very much part of the preparation. Now the problem comes in that you do not understand how much time to devote. So you can follow a 10% rule. आप 10% rule follow करो. So when you follow a 10% rule, which means if I'm studying for, let's say, 8 hours, 8 hours, 60 minutes, 6 is 480 minutes. So 480 minutes means 10% would require 48 minutes. If I say 45 minutes. So 45 minutes on an average, I would expect you to invest on answer writing and essay. Now, you can invest maybe 10 minutes on maybe reading the previous year question papers, maybe 35 minutes writing. If you don't want to write on day-to-day basis, you can devote on alternate days of writing karo. For example, I'll give an example. Right now, mains mentoring program is going on. So many of the students are writing, and you'll be surprised to know that everybody, almost maybe barring 1 or 2 students, they are all completing their papers, and there is a weekly target of syllabus. So this month you have to cover geography. This week you have to cover geography. For example, tomorrow's test is on physical geography and current affairs. So students know that they have to study physical geography. They don't have an option because kal paper aa jayega and aap kar nahi paoge. So maybe that is where. So similarly, when you're studying, make sure that whatever area you're covering, you are in a situation to cover them in terms of answer writing as well. Okay. So that is essay and answer writing. Appraisal of preparation on weekly or fortnightly basis. One more thing that students will have to understand, that preparation is not a defined process. Preparation is an evolving process. It is not a one approach which will common for everybody. It is very individual, and students will have to improvise, improve, understand how it is working. Is it working? Is it not working? So every 10 days, 15 days, let's say 15 days, just look back that have you met the target? Just look back, are you getting comfortable in the areas that you've read? Just look back कि आपने जो areas पढ़े हैं वहां से MCQs निकल रहे हैं. Just look back and see whether you somewhere close to breaching the cutoff 50% or not. If that is happening, or if there's a positivity, that means things are moving forward, then that is a good approach. One more thing, post prelims के बाद only prelims, post April only prelims preparation. After March, at the max, students जो पुराने हैं they can extend to 15th April. But students who are attempting for the first time, जो पहली बार एग्जाम दे रहे हैं, I would strictly advise them that you have to study for prelims, only prelims after from 1st April. After March, no mains preparation, no optional, no essay. Because if you don't crack prelims, everything will go waste. So prelims is the most toughest part of the examination. And I know students who, moment they clear the prelims, they will get selected, but they're not able to clear prelims. Every year this happens. So we don't know UPSC ka jo prelims hota hai, it's a filtering process. You are filtering, and the filtering mein good students also get filtered. So prelims is a different approach. So we have to give all our energy for prelims. April, May, June. If I say 20 days in June, so 50, 20, 30, 60 and 20. 80 days is only prelims, MCQs, practice, revision, MCQs, previous year question papers, MCQs, topic wise tests, module tests, full tests. We just test, evaluation, feedback, approval. For example, one of my student who got selected last year, and I asked him, he said, sir, I attempted 50 papers, and in every 50 paper, so there were 100 questions, which means he attempted 5,000 questions. And in 5,000 questions, there were 4 options in every question, because आपको 4 options मिलते हैं, A, B, C, D. And he ensured that all the 4 optional को बहुत ढंग से he analyze every 4 optional. Let's say you read a question, and moment you read a question and you read the right answer. Now that means you have filtered the right answer, but other 3 options को आप छोड़ देते हो. What he used to do, that even in that other 3 options, if there is some fact given, so he will look at what exactly that fact is, which exactly this fact is from which area. So practically, even though he's touching 5,000 question, but from going further, actually wo 4 option ko individually he is able to analyze, and maybe that way probably more than 5,000, maybe 10, 12,000 your area able to cover. And that way what is happening, you are able to cover a huge part of the syllabus. In fact, 50 papers agar aap karte ho, again 50 per paper is unrealistic for first timers. Now this guy was already selected, so automatically for him things were different. But for, if I say not 50 पर 20 paper can be there. Okay, so post prelims आपको बहुत revision करना है, बहुत practice करना है, बहुत MCQ solve करने हैं, and hence that is very important that you do that. Also, you need to invest 7 to 8 hours if you are serious about preparation. Follow 1/3 rule, and that is important. Seek a professional advice. Sit down and make your timetable. अगर आपको लगता है कि आपको help चाहिए, then seek a professional advice and make your timetable. Now, students who are working professional, for them things are going to be different. They will utilize their study, weekdays, weekends, and holidays properly. आपको अपना holidays में maximize करना होगा, and other days probably 3-4 hours आपको ensure करना होगा. And the basics will remain same. Maybe you have to improvise your preparation as per that. So that is how. One more thing, you have to take care of health. The problem, what happens that when you're putting on a grueling schedule, physical health, diet, meals, not sleeping properly is happens. Now that has to be controlled. You have to at least walk every day. 30 minutes se walk karo. If you can't do it, just at least walk in the evening or sometimes. Diet important hai. Don't do binge eating. Don't eat a lot of Maggie, and every second day Maggie you're having. No. That is not good. Have a healthy meal. Small meals are important. physical activities, small breaks are also important. Someday if you don't feel studying, take a break, don't study for half day. Okay. Schedule, again I believe in 6 days a schedule. मतलब आप 7 days मत पढ़ो, study for 6 days, or you can study for 6.5 days. Last 2-3 months में आप 7 days study कर सकते हो. There also you might the day you feel very heavy, or maybe you feel that you are saturated with studies, maybe you can take a half day break. Nothing wrong in that. Okay. And always reward yourself for meeting small goals. आपने छोटा अपना weekly target meet किया, reward yourself, go and have good food. Okay, maybe go and watch a movie also. Maybe just open the app and maybe watch a good movie, but after meeting the target, not before. Okay, always remember. So these are small things, that what is needed in the working timetable. Timetable आपका जो है कैसा effective बनेगा, वो depend करेगा that how you are able to do that. अच्छा, there are few more things about the timetable which I thought that I'll take impromptu. That is, you can divide. Now let's say 8 hours आप study कर रहे हो, and in this 8 hour, let's say 90 minutes or 1.5 hour is for newspapers. Newspaper reading, notes making, if you are doing that. If you are not doing that and you are relying from some source, okay, I'm still assuming that you're investing 90 minutes. Then you can divide the whole 8 hours into different. For example, you can divide for static areas. You can divide for dynamic areas. Now, dynamic area yahan se bhi cover ho raha hai, but this is daily dynamic area, not the subject dynamic area. For example, if you are studying, let's say in static, you are reading history, and in dynamic area, maybe you are studying economics, and you are covering the current issues of economics from maybe your own source, some other source like that. Okay, so you can divide the preparation, and of course, maybe they could be optional as well. Okay, so always divide. Acha, one more thing. When you're reading fresh things, let's say you are reading new subject, new area, or you're reading subject which require more attention, always make sure that you read those subjects when you are more, the energy levels are high, and when you feel that, your energy levels are high, you feel more fresh. For example, moment you take a bath, you feel fresh. So let's say you're starting geography. Now, geography is difficult for you. Physical geography, मुश्किल लगता है, oceanography, climatology, or maybe geomorphology, or maps, or human geography, or agriculture, typical लगता है आपको. So maybe when you are studying geography, maybe you use time which is where you feel that the concentration, high concentration is needed. Also, when the boredom slips, जब boredom आता है, in timetable you should have varied areas. Don't study only one subject. Follow at least 2 subject rule minimum 2 subject. You can go for 3, but minimum 2 subject rule will work. So these are some basic things that will be there, because if you read one subject, after 3 hours you'll get bored. So you have to switch a new subject. So switching to a new subject will kind of will bring rejuvenation. So that is how the things are there, and as per the working timetable, as the timetable is concerned. Okay, physical activities are important, and that is all. So that is all for the timetable part. Now what I'll do,